The Xbox Series X after 12 months. If you're trying to learn some more about it, you're in the right spot. I am going to give you information so you can make an informed decision on if you're going to buy this Xbox Series X or even the Series S after 12 months. I'm going to give you my experience. So if you want some more information, stick with me. Let's go. So let's get right to it. I was fortunate enough to buy the Xbox Series X on the day one release when it first came out. So I've actually owned it for a year and a little bit more than a year and a couple of days. I paid retail price for the system, so I did not have to go in and pay a scalper or anybody else an additional pay them additional cost to actually buy the system. I bought it for the $499 price that it was listed for. So if I can go back in time and actually reassess buying the system on day one and having it for a year, going back through that process and actually owning the system, there were some issues that I ran into when I was playing Call of Duty and I had 4K turned on with ray tracing. The system would just crash. It was just black screen. It was shut off, and then it got to a point to where instead of it shutting off, this after a patch came out, it would just boot back to the home screen. But since then they fixed it, so there were little issues like that, and I liken that to a tax, a early adopters tax. So you and I, early adopters, we buy the system on day one, or a laptop or computer on day one. And as the days go on, that company will actually start pushing out updates to fix whatever issues there are. There weren't any AAA titles, essentially, that came out with the system when it first came out. So I was stuck with playing Xbox One games or games that have been remastered for the Xbox Series X or even the Series S. There weren't really any type of titles to actually push the system out. I think the one saving grace for the Xbox Series X and the Series S was Game Pass, or is Game Pass and still is Game Pass. I have a video about Game Pass, so if you want to learn more about it, you can check it out on my channel. But Game Pass allows you to go in and pay a monthly fee, $9.99 or $14.99 a month for the Xbox Game Pass Ultimate. You can go in, download games on day one when they release. Forza Horizon 5 just came out a couple of days ago. You can go in, download that game to your system, and you don't have to do anything else. You don't have to pay any additional fees, but you do have to keep it. Now, when I first bought the system, I didn't think that Game Pass would play that big of a role because I thought that more titles would be coming, but Game Pass really saved it. I'm just being honest. And this is not a Game Pass video. Game Pass saved Xbox this time around because of the offerings that they have, and also them buying Bethesda, or ZeniMax, which is the parent company to Bethesda. Come on. It's Bethesda, guys. Wolfenstein, Fallout, Doom. Yeah. I mean, we have many games that have come out this year. The Medium, Outriders, Psychonauts 2, Back 4 Blood, MLB Show 2021, which is actually a PlayStation exclusive that ended up coming out on Xbox, Game Pass. And a couple of days ago, as I mentioned before, we had Forza Horizon 5. And then in December, we have Halo Infinite coming out. I mean, that's the real reason why I bought an Xbox. I think it's PlayStation people, but I've been an Xbox guy since the original Xbox came out, and Halo has been my game, and that has been the thing that I've been waiting on when I bought the system. I was really disappointed to find out that it would not release, but I'm glad that they took the time to work on Halo Infinite to make it as good as they possibly can. I believe that the folks from Bethesda, when they came over and they bought them, that they actually gave them a little bit of their knowledge and how to make that game look better. So in December, it's going to be on, man. So value proposition, I mean, for a next-gen console, Xbox Series X, I mean, the specs, you get 4K gaming, 120 up to 120 frames per second in certain games, HDR, all those good things. It's a next-gen console, so it's built for the future. It's built for games that are going to be coming out. The system's not even being pushed to its max right now with the games that it's playing, or the games that you can play on it right now. And guys, if you do like this content, please make sure you hit that like and subscribe button down below. I'm trying to beat the YouTube algorithm, and I need your help. Also, turn on those notifications. If you do sub up to the channel. I mean, you know, I like people to sub up, but make sure you hit that like and subscribe button so I can get out in front of more people and so this channel can grow. Let's get back to the content. All right, guys, let's talk about some of the incremental performance changes that came along with the Xbox Series X and also Series S. There was an issue with what we call quick resume. That got resolved. There was an issue with games not going up to 60 frames per second or 120 frames per second. Certain games can do that. There was a release from Xbox Wire a couple of months back that have a list of games. System just shutting off. Some people are still reporting that as an issue, but for me, it hasn't happened for me like that for the games that I play. And you know, it's just been a good solid system. So let's talk about hardware and more specifically the storage. When the Xbox Series X first came out, there was a 1 terabyte storage expansion card that you could buy for $219. Since then, in October, they actually announced 2 additional sizes. So you can get a 512 gigabyte storage card for, I believe it's $139, and then you can get a 2 terabyte card for $399. Now that I know that sounds like that is a lot of money. Believe me, that is a lot of money because one card is almost as much as the Series S and the other card is $100 less than the Xbox Series X. But when you think about how fast the storage needs to be, I think that price is justifiable. At one point in time, I did say this is too much money, but looking back in retrospect, it is very, very worth it. Now, you can use regular hard drives for your Xbox One games and also older games. You can actually play those games, put them on that particular hard drive and play them straight from that hard drive. But if you want to play the Xbox Series X and S enhanced games, those games that are made specifically for these systems, you have to make sure you have these updated cards. Would I recommend it? Heck yeah. I recommend the Xbox Series X or Series S. And in fact, I would recommend a Series S over a Series X because the majority of gamers, they don't have 4K TVs with 120 hertz frame rate, refresh rate, or even monitors that do that. My computer monitors behind me don't even do that. So, I mean, the Xbox Series S, though it only has 512 gigs of storage minus whatever the operating system takes, you can always get one of those memory cards, pop it in there, and you can game at 1440p. I mean, it still looks beautiful, it still looks amazing. I've seen the gameplay. I mean, if your TV can't handle it, what's the point of even having 4K? And even having a hard, a physical media, is what I call it, a disc to put into your system, that's dying with Game Pass, and that's becoming more and more obvious. I like to own physical media, but with this Xbox Series X, I've gotten on the train of just downloading the game that I want when I want it. Of course, you can't get any games pre-owned or on sale, but with Game Pass, you can get games at a cheaper price with that particular service. After a year of owning the Xbox Series X, is it worth it? Yes, I believe it is. And again, I would even venture as far as to say, if you can get your hands on an Xbox Series S, go ahead and grab that because you're really not missing anything except a physical drive for your discs, also the extended storage, and also 4K gaming. But again, most people don't game at 4K. Most people, if you have a flat screen TV, you're gaming at 1080p, or even with your computer, you may have a 1440p monitor that you may game on. But I think that would be more than sufficient for you if you are looking at getting one of these systems. And again, the price difference, $299 versus $499. If I can go back in time, I think I would get the Series S. But I got my X, and I'm happy with it. So if you guys have any more questions or comments, please leave them down below. Again, this is Patrick with Patch Tech Review.